Okay, for homework 929, big points. I want you just to copy the work that I'm going to show you. Don't have to show these words, just the work. And then, of course, the words to show me that you listen. So this first one, a percent ratio. Take the number I'm telling you and put that automatically over X. And that's the number I'm trying to find. 18 out of how many problems is that 90%? So I take that number of problems they give me, automatically put it over that X, equal to that percent number, and a percent is always over 100. For this problem, I'm going to crisscross multiply. I'm going to multiply the 90 and the X to get 90X, and then I'm going to multiply the 18 and the 100 on my calculator the right way to get 1,800. At this point, you're timesing 9 times 90 times X, so the opposite, dividing both sides by 90. These will cancel away, and that X, if you divide the right way, 1,800 divided by 90, you'll get 20. So that means 18 out of 20 problems is 90%. If I times one way, 20 times 90, 1,800. If I times the other way, 1,800. For equal ratios, when you crisscross multiply, the numbers should always equal each other. The first word is island. Island. All right, next one. It wants to say, what is the rate brand A is selling for? So here I'm just going to do the work for A, and then underneath I'm going to do for both because they want you to do both. So for brand A right here, I have that 10 pounds, which goes on the bottom. So it's going to be $4 for every 10 pounds. If I divide that the right way on my calculator, I will get 0.4 or 40 cents or 0.4 of a dollar for every 1 pound that I'm buying. So that's telling me 40 cents for every 1 pound. This is my unit rate because I have a 1 down at the bottom. There's meaning specify unit rate, divide it, and get a 1 on the bottom. Take that 4 and divide it by 10. That's what I did. 4 divided by 10. That's what gave me 0.4. All right, now for the next one, do it for B also, and then we'll compare. So B is $6 for every 20 pounds. If I divide that top number by the bottom number, it's going to give me 0.3. So that means brand B is 30 cents for every 1 pound. So you can see a little bit lower than brand A. Which brand is better? Brand B. So you'd have to tell me in words. Brand B, because cheaper per pound, maybe. 1 pound is about 10 cents cheaper. So if I bought 1 pound from brand B, I'm saving 10 cents. If I buy 2 pounds from brand B, I'm saving 20 cents more. All right, let's keep going. This one, fill in the numbers. So if I add these up, adding 36, get my calculator to make sure I'm always being accurate. So 1632 looks like I'm going up by 16, and I got that by just comparing a few of these numbers already given to me. That 32 take away 16, 80 minus 16, so I'm using that. So I take that 32 plus 16 will give me this first opening number, 48, plus 16 is 64, plus 16, 80, plus 16 is 96, plus 16 gives me 112, plus 16 gives me 128. This next one looks like, if I look at just these two numbers, looks like going up by 30s. So if I take this 30 plus 30, 60, 90, 120 plus 30, 150 plus 30, 180, 180 plus 30, 210 plus 30, 240 plus 30, 270. Be able to get these numbers. Who makes more per hour? Divide both. So I'm taking that first one there, which is $16 for every 2 hours. That is for Lauren. So if I divide that out, that gives me $8 for every 1 hour that Lauren is working. She's making $8 per hour. That is her unit rate. That is for Lauren. If I do the same for Julie here, and let's do that underneath. Sorry about that. If I do Julie, Julie is $30 divided by 3 hours to find her unit rate. If I divide that out, that gives me $10 for every 1 hour that she works. So you can see who makes more money. You will say Julie, because she makes more money per hour. So just remember that last one, they wanted the cheapest price, which has the better value, which is cheaper per pound, where this one, it wants who makes more money per hour. The higher one is good. Now it says unit rate, so you could just do this work again if you want. I got $30 divided by 3 hours. That is not a unit rate. A unit rate is when you divide the top number by the bottom, which puts that number over 1. So 30 divided by 3 is $10 for every 1 hour. All right, this next one here, it's having you use Julie's rate for 12 hours. That means I'm giving you a number with the hour unit. That number by itself is really over 1. I'm going to be timesing that by the right ratio, either the 1 hour over $10, but don't do that one because the hours won't cancel. You can't cancel straight across. I want to use, instead of 1 hour for every $10, I want to use the regular ratio, $10 for every 1 hour. And the reason I do that is my hour units will cancel. And all I got to do is multiply straight across. That 12 times 10 gives me 120. I could put that over 1, but most people don't. It's just going to end up being $120. Second word is dog. Dog. All right, this next one a little harder because it has you get money. But the one before it, though, careful. It says compare Lauren's per hour to Julie. And the numbers we're using, you're using the unit rate numbers. Don't use the original. So Lauren, she's making $8, so use that number 8 because she's making $8 per hour compared to Julie, who's making 10. So use those numbers after you've divided them out. So the ratio from Lauren to Julie, 8 to 10, but they also want you to whittle it down a little bit to write an equivalent equation. You could write 8 to 10, or if you divide 8 and 10, it whittles it down to 4 to 5, but that is the same value. All right, this next one, given $560, you're going to be timesing that by Julie's rate, but you're timesing it not by the normal $10 per 1 hour because nothing's going to cancel. You're going to multiply by the flip-flop. Instead of the normal $10 per hour, we're going to flip that so it represents 1 hour for every $10. And the reason we're doing that is now these will cancel because they're diagonal of each other. Now I'll time straight across. Our unit is the only unit left. So if I times 560 times 1, that gives me 560 on the bottom 10. That's hours. And if I divide that, my pen lets me right. That 56 divided by 10 gives me 56 hours. That's how long it would take to work at that rate to make $560. All right, almost done. These ones, 2 hours at 60 miles per hour. So you're gonna have to do two separate ones. So if I take that 60 miles for every 1 hour and I times that by 2 hours of driving, which is over 1. Again, these units will cancel. All you're going to be left with is miles this time straight across. 60 times 2 gives me 120, and then the only unit left there is miles. Do the same for the next chunk. 5 hours at 5 hours at 80 miles per hour. So this one is 80 miles for every 1 hour times 80 times that certain out 5 hours. You can put that over 1 if you want. No unit down here, just over plain old 1. These hours will cancel, leave you just miles. And then if I time straight across, 80 times 5 gives me, I believe, 400. Let me just double check my calculator. And the only unit there left is miles. Make sure you read the problem carefully. It says travel all together. So take those numbers and make sure you add them up. That gives me 520 total miles if you drove a little bit at one speed for a couple hours and then sped up for another chunk. All right, last word. For these, you're going to need to fill in the table. Going down, adding 2, going down, adding 2. I could use that. Add 9 plus 2, 11. But careful, this is not the 5th term. I'm going to need a rule for that one. So I need you to know, adding by 2 going down, going up the column, doing the opposite, subtracting 2. So if I go back to that all-important 0 term, which I need, take that 5, subtract 2, that gives me 3. Now that is what I need to write my rule. So I have y equals always the adding number in front of x plus that y-intercept number. That is my rule. That's what I'm going to use to plug in 53 in there for x to find out how many y is for 56 or 53. So here I go. Use the rule. I got y. I got that 2. Now where that x is, I'm going to put 53 and times it and then add that to 3. That will give me the answer for that box right there. So 2 times 53 is 106 plus 3 gives me 109. Now graph your points. Maybe write these as coordinates so you know what to plot. I got 0 for x, 3 for y. Know how to plot an xy coordinate. This is the x-axis. This is the y-axis. You're going to plot 0, 3. You're going to plot 1, 5. You're going to plot 2, 7. You're going to plot 3, 9, maybe even 4, 11. So here I go. 0 for x, up 3. would be right here. That's 0, 3. That is the y-intercept term. And then from there, 1 for x, up 5. 2 for x, up 7. 3 for x, up 9. For those of you who are with me, you should see that they're following that pattern. Over 1, up 2, over 1, up 2, over 1 box, up 2, over 1 box, up 2 to get that next point. Or just plot those points that you got, including maybe 4, 11, and then draw a nice, neat, straight line through your points. Label your equation. All right, last one. For this, adding 3. Use that to go backwards to find that 0 term for x. So if I take that 3 minus 3, gives me 0. That is the 0 term. I could use that 3 to add, but to find 52, I need a rule. So here I go. The rule is that number that you're adding in front of x plus the y-intercept term, 0. I'm going to plug in 52 in there and then add that to 0. So that gives me 3 times 52 is 156. Draw and plot those coordinates. Again, maybe some of you write them out. Those are x and y numbers. Always know how to plot coordinates. So if I plot them 0, 0 is going to be right here at the corner. Always these proportional graphs at the corner. Over 1, up 3. Over 2, up 6. Over 3, up 9. Over 4, up 12. Or guess what? Keep going. Over 1, up 3. Over 1, up 3. Over 1, up 3. Or draw those lines. Draw a line through them. Label your equation. The last word is Liverpool. Liverpool. Show me all this work and those 3 words, and I will reward your grade, I promise. Good luck.